Hi there. Let's talk about this gift of the full moon in Cancer that we are seeing in Melbourne on the 27th. It's the day after Boxing Day, when we are likely all feeling very exhausted. And then we get this full moon in Cancer. Now, full moons bring things to light. And Cancer being ruled by the moon, this is an emotional one. This means our emotions are going to be brought to the light for us to look at. Now, December is already filled with a huge energy of uncovering truth. It is already asking us to focus on our deep, long-term connections, how we are feeling inside of them, how we are showing up inside of them, whether or not that is balanced. We are looking at speaking our truth. We are looking at healing a lot of family connection wounds. We are looking at healing a lot of karmic wounds. And with Chiron around, we are looking at healing childhood wounds with Cancer energy likely related to the mother. So we already have a lot of healing energy. And then we get this full moon in Cancer, who is going to be lighting up our emotional natures. Now, this moon offers such a unique opportunity in finding peace and really embracing your inner darkness. It's going to be bringing thoughts and feelings to the surface so that we can more easily align those with our life and really see a new path forward in how we are expressing our emotional natures. Now, very interestingly, 2023, the first full moon of 2023, was a Cancer full moon. And it was asking us to reflect on what felt like home to us. And Cancer archetype rules that fourth house energy. So it's inner foundations, it's the mother, it's the roots, it's the ancestors. And that first full moon this year in January, I think it was January 6th, we were really being asked to reevaluate how we nurture ourselves. We were really looking at that initial mother wound of needing external validation, external nurturing, external love in order to feel worthy of it. Now, this Cancer full moon, that we had in January really offered us a chance to notice our ability for self-regulation and also co-regulation emotionally. And it really was looking into how we deal with and express things that make us emotionally uncomfortable. And we were really being given an opportunity to gain a clear understanding of how family dynamics really were and how they were going to be exposed for us to see how they really were. Because in exposing these things, we are able to see how they are still affecting our choices and our behaviors as we stand here in the present day, and how these dynamics that we have now created from that are also contributing to any disempowerment or any prevention of really being able to mature emotionally. So with the first and the last full moon of 2023 being in Cancer, we are being asked to reflect on how our emotional reactions has changed, because this moon's going to bring with it a similar energy. So the first one in January, this one in December, is really giving us a clear example of how we have grown. And if you think back to that energy and see the ways that you are now responding differently, the way that you are seeing emotional situations differently, and really put yourself into a place of gratitude for self. Full moon is a really great time to be in a place of gratitude for what you have in your life. And when you are sitting in that moment of gratitude this December with this full moon, make sure part of that is for you, for how you have achieved so much emotional growth this year. And really think about that, how you were feeling at the start of the year versus how you are feeling now in relation to your emotional maturity. Now, this full moon coming up now in December, this Cancer full moon is making a beautiful aspect with Jupiter in Taurus, and that will be just before Jupiter goes direct. Now, this interaction between the moon and Jupiter will still be in retrograde. So it's going to help us open up an alternative path forward in our emotional direction. And if you had always felt pessimistic or doubtful about the next step, there's going to be a sense of curiosity and forward moving coming in with this Jupiter sextile. And this moon is also being supported by Saturn, which gives us the endurance to follow through on these ideas that we have. Now, Mercury retrograde is in here messing around because it is playing around with Saturn throughout the whole of its retrograde. It is very heavy on the Saturn energy. So this is likely to bring the risk and the increase of arguments with parents, arguments with partners, arguments within relationship dynamics that cause us to question our own values, or we come up against somebody else's values, because this is beliefs and values when Saturn is involved. And there could be a lot of tension around that as people are in this space in the retrograde of sort of revising where they sit on those things. So it's important to remember, particularly because we are going to be around family because it is the holidays, that it's not up to you, and you do not need to convince others of your point of view. That is not our job to convince others that our point of view is correct. What we need to be focusing on is sharing our perspective without judgment. Those two things might seem the same, but they are not the same. So really think about that when you are speaking. Are you trying to convince someone that you are correct, or are you simply sharing your perspective? Because that energy can make a very heavy shift between whether or not you are going to be in arguments. Now, there's also a lack of air energy around this Mercury retrograde. Mercury is in Sag, then in Capricorn. We are in Capricorn season. Taurus, Jupiter is in Taurus. The moon is in Cancer. This is water, this is earth, this is fire. There is very little air energy around here. And so that does make debates and big family conversations not likely to be as productive, because it is from the air energy that we can speak our mind properly, that we aren't fueled by emotions. But of course, Cancer being the deep, dark, emotional, ruled by the moon sign, people are likely to be in their emotions. So any sort of large, heavy family conversations would be best to be left until the new year, when we start seeing a shift in energy and Jupiter has gone direct. Bringing in a little bit more on the emotional side is Chiron in Aries will also be going direct on the same day as this full moon. So this really gives us another opportunity to heal any lingering emotional pain, particularly when it comes to feminine energy or the mother. Being around Christmas time, most of us are going to be around mothers, grandmothers, and any wounds that need to be healed are really being supported here by Chiron going direct with this Cancer moon. And it's likely that over the last few months, you have been reevaluating these closest relationships with these feminines. And it's really up to you to determine in this time which ones and how these relationships are going to thrive. And you need to use this energy to release any karmic wounds, emotional baggage, anything attached to the past, and use this as a renewal. And whether that means you are redefining these relationships, or focusing on building new connections, or looking at your found family as more supportive than your genetic family, the family you grew up with, that is up to you to decide. And with this Cancer full moon and Chiron going direct, you're being supported to be able to do that. Now, there is also, like I was saying, a really huge need with this moon to be in a state of gratitude for everything that you have experienced and overcome this year. Really look back, really take the time to look back at that early January and see how you changed. Even look back at the Christmas last year, that period of Christmas until the first week in the new year, and see how you felt. Be grateful for the journey and be grateful for the people that led you there, whether they led you there in positive energy or they led you there by teaching you something about yourself that maybe you didn't enjoy. So being that Cancer represents the archetype of the mother in astrology. She has these incredible levels of compassion, incredible levels of empathy, and the ability to really love self and other unconditionally. So this full moon is really here to shine light on our emotional natures and really help us spark a level of forgiveness that we have been holding back on. a level of forgiveness for ourselves and others. And this is so that we can sit down and feel these things with these people and mend these wounds. Just be aware of Mercury being in retrograde and the lack of air energy, making it difficult to have these conversations. So have a lot of empathy for yourself and others at this time, and really release. Really release everything that you've got to release with this moon. All the karmic baggage, all the self-judgments you've had of yourself, all the guilt and shame and times that you were misunderstood emotionally, all the connections that you've ever had with a mother figure, with a feminine figure in your life that you have taken on as your rule structure. Release those things. Move forward into 2024, building your own rule structure and loving yourself unconditionally from within. Make sure you check out my other videos. Particularly, I advise checking out my one about the Christmas energy. It's very heavy on the healing this year at Christmas time. Knowing about this energy is very important. If you would like to have a birth chart reading, please check out my website. Birth chart readings can make monumental change in your life. Knowing those things, validating your experience in the way that they can do, can help you move forward and heal wounds. So please check that out if you are interested. Make sure you like and subscribe and share these videos with other people in your life, because not only can it help you heal, it can help others heal. And that is my divine purpose, is to get this information out to as many people as possible. You can also check me out on Instagram or TikTok, where I, particularly on TikTok, do lives where you can ask questions and get tarot read. So enjoy this very emotional energy. It's very heavy. Be kind to yourself. Have empathy for everyone. Not everyone is going to be able to show up in this energy in a positive way, particularly people who don't follow astrology as far as I'm concerned. Never be afraid to walk into your shadow and walk out your front door healed as a completely different person that nobody in your life will recognize. Always follow your true purpose. Always heal your authentic soul. Release your inner child from the cages that they were put in. And as always, stay weird.